right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Geekpalooza Comedy Tour. So, let's get ready to rumble! Look at me nuts. Because this is kind of a geek comedy show, and that's something we don't normally do, right? But shouldn't we? Right? Shouldn't people get excited about geeky stuff? Like the stuff that occurs at the Skeptic Tracks? Like the stuff that a lot of our Georgia Tech students that are appearing here tonight do? Could you imagine that? That'd be a little different, wouldn't it? Monday at Georgia Tech. It's advanced linear algebra techniques. Calculate the pressure drop in your roommate's bong. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's fluid mechanics like you've never seen it used before. Monday at Georgia Tech, where the big nerds run. Okay. All right, so my name's Pete Ludovis. I teach chemical and biomolecular engineering at Georgia Tech. And when you go to a cocktail party and tell people that's what you do, I guarantee you are going home alone, because that is not a conversation starter. So we've got a lot of folks from the Georgia Tech Geekpalooza Comedy Tour here. Plus, we've got a lot of local comedians that are very, very funny. They're gonna entertain you very well tonight. People we would call normal. So that's going to be good for you. I will admit this. I was recently out in California. Yeah, that was interesting. I was appearing in front of a crowd a little geekier than you guys, the American Chemical Society. Yeah, it's kind of a freak show out there. And they're all excited about what's happening this year. Does anyone know what's happening this year? A big anniversary for us chemists? Okay, Lou, and the fact that you know that means you should get out more. So it is the 150th anniversary of the periodic table, where we celebrate 150 years of Dmitry Mendeleev organizing the elements into the periodic table and 150 years of Americans mispronouncing aluminium. I was in London, and they're still pissed about that. But that's kind of weird because we use slightly different words, slightly different pronunciations, right? So when I was at Imperial College in London, I pointed out that what we call an apartment, they call a flat. What we call an elevator, they call a lift. And what we call disgusting organ meat baked into a pie, they call lunch. Right? It's not too good. But actually, I will admit, there are a few of them I like. Haggis sounds really gross, but when you put it on a cheeseburger in London, it's actually quite good. And my favorite food over across the pond in the UK is something called a twiglet. Anyone heard of a twiglet? No twiglet fans. Oh, you've heard of a twiglet? So a twiglet, in case you don't know, is a Marmite-coated pretzel. And for those of you that know what Marmite now, you're kind of going like, Marmite is heavy brown yeast extract. And that just goes to show you the difference between people in the United States and people in the UK. In the United States, if you have heavy brown yeast extract, we call that a gynecological infection, and we give you ointment, right? In the UK, they put it on a pretzel and they eat it. All right, so actually one of my colleagues, Lou Lefton, and I, we both do a lot of computational work. So I have all these computers that use the very same NVIDIA graphics cards that you guys use to make your avatar look cool. My son's addicted to video games. He came into my lab one day and he goes, "Dad, this would be a kick-ass gaming system." Of course, he's 19, doesn't have a job, and I'm trying to get him out of my house. But I am sympathetic to the other parents who have this problem, right? So I tried to understand why my son, Dylan, is addicted to video games. So I sat and watched him play World of Warcraft, right? And I'm watching him play, and in the game, his representation, his avatar in the game, is a buxom blonde woman in a brass bustier. So I thought, oh, this is going to cost me a lot of money in therapy. But I didn't want to judge, right? I didn't want to impose any gender stereotypes on him. So I asked him, "Dylan, why is that your avatar?" He said, "Dad, when that's my avatar, people give me shit for free." Now I'm thinking he's some kind of a genius, because it took me till I was at least 45 to figure that one out. Yeah, that was tough. All right, so a lot of people don't like to talk about chemicals because your only introduction to chemicals is reading the side panel with the ingredients on the side of consumer products, right? How many people are confused by that? Right? It's a little weird. We have several names for all these darn things. So, for example, you read things like guar gum, cellulose gum, carrageenan. They sound like radioactive waste, but in fact, they are all natural plant extracts, right? So why don't we name them better, right? Carrageenan is an all-natural seaweed extract, but it sounds like something that oozes out of Jabba the Hutt, right? I've seen that movie a dozen times. You've never seen it, but I'm pretty sure he oozes. Oozes something, probably something called carrageenan. And then there are some weird chemicals. I'm going to pick a chemical that's not the life-saving pharmaceuticals, the advanced materials, right? That's easy to do. I'm going to pick one of these meh chemicals that you guys see all the time in consumer products. Glycerin. So glycerin, very commonly used in consumer products. The problem is now that we're doing biodiesel manufacturing, we're going to have about 100 million tons of glycerin. Problem is, what are we going to do with it? So number one use of glycerin, you may not know this, consumer products like hand lotion. And I got a lot of 19-year-old guys in my class who's like, well, we could use more hand lotion, man. We're willing to step up to the plate. I don't think they can use that much hand lotion. I think that's a saturated commodity. Number two use of glycerin is suppositories. Suppository fan back there? Yeah, okay, that's good. So I've split the room here, right? So right now, half the people have no idea what a suppository is. That would be the young folks. The other half understand that suppository is a very effective drug delivery means for old people and Europeans. And what? Oh, yeah, that's right. I never thought about that. Babies, Europeans, I'm going to lump them all together. That's what I'm... So basically, anyone that can't swallow a pill like a baby, or Europeans and old people that understand that the delivery rate through the descending colon of your large intestine is about 100 times faster than actually swallowing it, right? So the truth is, stuff gets in your system really, really quickly if you shove it up your ass. That's what a suppository is, right? So, and what's funny is we have fraternity pranks that really mess people up. So a number of years ago, there was a fraternity that asked a couple guys to shove a cigar up their ass. Is that a common thing in fraternities? Is that... Let's go to the Georgia Tech Industrial Engineering folks right over there. Is that a common thing at Georgia Tech? Okay. And the truth is they died. They did, right? They died of nicotine poisoning. Nicotine is actually very, very, very toxic. So the lesson we've just learned here from the Geek on Stage is, for those of you in the back who are a little freaky, right, watch what you shove up your ass, right? Right. She's looking at me like, Martha, we should be a little more careful next time we do that anal shit. Yeah, and this is live streaming. Well, it's educational. That's the way I'm going to look at it. Okay, the number three usage of glycerin is personal lubricant. Okay, I lost the group here. Nobody? I mean, John Delaney, I think, comedian, said it best. He said, my wife and I used to smoke after sex. Now we use personal lubricant. This is something, I guess, that only old people use. Friction is your enemy when you're older, right? So it's basically kind of a high-tech mixture of glycerin, water, deionized water, a few salt additives, just to get everything balanced, right? Get the pH balance and things like that. There is one fundamental ingredient missing, in case you haven't noticed: flavor. God, tough crowd. This is so I was out in California. I did the American Chemical Society. I did Columbia Sportswear. I did a nerd comedy show out in Carlsbad. I did all clean jokes. I was determined to do dirty jokes tonight. Apparently not. But so for those of you, I actually work with a group called the Association of Applied and Therapeutic Humor. And for those of you that have the aunt, the grandmother, the mother who's like, there's just no reason to ever tell a dirty joke. Not true, and it is discussed in the literature. It turns out that if you're trying to get someone's attention because they're very sick, they're dying of cancer, they have a bus parked on their legs, and the paramedic wants to get their attention about their treatment, a knock-knock joke just isn't going to cut it. So I'm going to end with what a good friend of mine who was in charge of educational outreach for the Cancer Treatment Centers of America once said. She told this at a meeting of the Association of Applied and Therapeutic Humor, and she looks like a schoolmarm. Looks like the most conservative person you've ever met in your entire life. She's got a PhD from the University of Chicago, and this is the joke she told in front of a bunch of therapeutic humor folks. She said a couple came in to their doctor, and this woman had stage 4 cancer, and she was getting her fistula cleaned out. Fistula is a hole that doctor put in you that normally don't belong there. Lots of different ways they can do that. Probably a gastric fistula, right? So if you have colon cancer, you lose part of your intestine and you have a colostomy bag. So it's kind of a messy thing. This is not a good reason to be seeing your doctor. And the doctor is, cleaning out this fistula, and he turns to the gentleman and says, this fistula cannot be used for foreplay. Honest to God, she actually said that. And then the gentleman turns back to the doctor and he goes, I'm her brother. And the point is, it takes a little of the edge off when you're doing it that way. So this is for the benefit of all my comedians coming up tonight. Dirty jokes are clinically okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for your next comedian of the evening? So he's a good friend of one of our Georgia Tech Geekapalooza comedians. He's a very modest guy. Didn't really want me to plug him, but he was basically one of the funniest guys at Iowa State. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're going to leave it with that. Please welcome to the stage the one, the only, Vasishta Srirama. Srirama.
All right, so how y'all doing tonight? There we go. I'm going to need a little more than that. There we go. There we go. So anyone got a favorite TV? What's your favorite TV show, man? What's your favorite TV show? Yeah. Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty. Okay, Rick and Morty. I'll tell you what my favorite TV show is. It's Inside the NBA on TNT. I don't even watch basketball, okay? I just watched Inside the NBA on TNT because it stars the likes of three of my favorite people. Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, and Shaquille O'Neal. And I don't even watch the analysis. I don't even care about the analysis. I watch because they have one segment called Tweet the Gang. It's just where a random person can just tweet a question and they have to answer it. I was watching the other day and this guy just comes up and tweets the gang, hey guys, how far do you think the moon is? And Shaq goes, I'm sorry, and Ernie Johnson goes 3,000 miles, right? And Charles Barkley goes 30,000 miles. And Shaq goes 30 miles. Shaq goes 30 miles. Ernie Johnson just turns to him and goes, Shaq, why do you, and then they cut to commercial. They come back from commercial. Ernie Johnson's like shuffling papers. And he just looks at the camera and he goes, so we found out how far the moon was. We found out how far, and he just goes, Shaq, why don't you tell him? And Shaq goes, 285,000 miles. And Ernie Johnson just goes, why did you think the moon was 30 miles away? And Shaq goes, without even missing a beat, Shaq goes, well, as you know, we're from Los Angeles, and we're 3,000 miles away from Los Angeles. And when I stand out on a mountain, I can't see it, but I can see the moon. Dude, Shaq thought the moon was like a long drive away. He thought if you just aimed your car at the moon, you'd be there in 30 minutes. And the best part was, he just goes up there and just wings it on national TV every single day. I was watching, and they just go, so Shaq, what'd you think of the first half? And he just goes, who's playing? Shaq, you got on a plane in Los Angeles. You flew 14 hours. You did a pregame interview. You sat down for 30 minutes, and you were still on, like, the moon thing. Oh, God. You know what's funny? You guys read about those controversies? I read about this controversy, the Papa John controversy. You guys hear about that? Papa John, the guy who founded Papa John's Pizza Company, he got kicked out of his own company because he said the N-word in a meeting. He said the N-word in a meeting. It was crazy, right? They kicked him out. And I remember I watched the press conference when they kicked him out. You know, he's gone. And this guy comes up and he's like, listen, this can never happen again. You know, this can never happen again. No one can ever, we cannot allow this to happen. And I'm going to introduce our next guy who's going to take Papa John's place. And I'm expecting a pizza mogul. No, it's four-time NBA champion Shaquille O'Neal, who just whips around the corner. He's 7'3". And I'm like, why in the world is Shaq the guy you chose? And then I'm like, oh, this can never happen again. They found the one guy they knew who could definitely say the N-word. So a little interesting fact about me. Interesting fact, I actually worked for the football team at UGA. I worked for the football team. I'll let it happen. Cool, okay? I was the video guy. But anyway, I videotaped the practices. I always videotape the practices. And, you know, I got to film the offense. And the offense, like, they get a lot of respect, you know. And the defense, I'd film them. But my favorite group of people to film was the kickers. Because the kickers demand no respect on this team. The kickers demand no respect. They score a seventh of all points scored in the season. And the funniest part is like when they, you know, at practice, kickers kick the field goals, right? And when they kick it, they have like one guy who comes out and he's like, hey, you made it. And then he just walks, I don't know where he goes. But he does that, and every time they miss, like 6 different guys let them know they missed. And my favorite part is I remember this one practice I was standing up above, and I was like videotaping from above, and the whole team's over here, and their coach is talking to the whole team. And on the other side is the kickers. And they kicked the ball over the fence. They gave them one ball, all right? And they kicked the ball over the fence, and they lost the ball. And the kickers do this thing that's like my favorite thing in the world. They act like a group of 7th grade boys at like a dance where they all gather together, and then they send one guy to represent them. They send one guy to represent them. He walks 50 yards across the field, and I see him like he's building up it's like he's asking a girl out on a date, you know, and he gets there. And he goes like this. And the coach is talking to the team without even missing a beat. He just knew he was there, just turns and goes, I don't care. And then just turned back and finished the speech. And the best part was the kicker, without even just pivots, walks back and walks 55 yards in shame on film. The best part was he gets back and the other kickers didn't even need an explanation. They just assumed he had failed. You know, at UGA, we do this great thing for the team where we have disabled kids on the sideline, you know, kids who really want to see a UGA football practice, and they can't play football. So we have them on. And I saw this kid, and he didn't have legs. You know, he didn't have any legs. He was in a wheelchair, and he was watching the kickers kick. And he saw this one kicker miss, and he just goes, hey! And just yells at the kicker, and then goes, I don't have legs, and I'm a better kicker than you. Dude, talk about a flex. Holy crap. And the best part is the kicker just turns, opens his mouth, and the guy just goes, I don't care, man. This very interesting things happened to me. When I was in high school, this terrible thing happened to me. They threatened a school shooting. Yeah, it's crazy. On Friday afternoon, someone found in the bathroom on the wall, it said at Monday at 8 a.m., I'm going to shoot up the school. It was so scary. And everyone went home that weekend, and they asked their parents, like, I don't want to come to school on Monday, you know, except for mine. I remember I walked up to my parents and I'm like, can I, like, not attend the school shooting on Monday? and they just go, Vasishta, it's your academics. It's more important than your life. And I remember I was so pissed. I was so angry because I was like, man, I'm going to go to class and no one's going to be there all day. I mean, and a school shooting could have happened. That was also on the table. But I remember I showed up. I was so pissed. I showed up class 7:55 a.m. I'm sitting and it's empty. There's not a single person in the class. And I'm like, man, I knew it. I just knew this was going to happen. And then the bell strikes. It's 8 a.m. and I hear this guy running down the hall. And I'm like, oh no, this is the end. Like, this is crazy. And I see a kid whip around the corner. And it's not a school shooter. No, it's Raj Patel, the only other Indian kid in this goddamn school. And he just goes, academics, right? It's like, damn it, Raj. I'm taking a really cool class right now. I'm taking a history class. It's really cool. It's American history, and like, you know, you don't really go in depth in American history when you're in high school, but I've been going in depth, and I think it's really cool. Because the other day I was learning about the Boston Tea Party. You guys know about the Boston Tea Party? Yeah, pretty, wow. Pretty notable event, guys. No, this really cool thing I learned about the Boston Tea Party was that the colonists from Boston dressed up as Native Americans. They put feathers in their hair, and they dressed up as Native Americans to pull the mission off. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. Which begs 2 questions. Why? That made the mission harder. Native Americans in Boston, 76, not my go-to disguise, okay? That's like you're pulling a bank heist in Germany and a yarmulke as your disguise. Man. The second question it begs is, it fucking worked. They're from Boston. That means that the British soldier on duty was just like, are there some nope, those are Native Americans. I know that because they have feathers in their hair. You know what my favorite part is? The British believed it. Like, I like to think the king is sitting in his throne room, and I don't know, like an intern runs around, he falls, I don't know. An intern runs in with papers, and he's like, I bring news from the colonies. The Native Americans have tossed tea into our harbor. Oh, God, we have to deal with that. In completely unrelated news, the Americans have declared revolution. Wow. And then it worked, and they did that the whole time. I just want to close out a little fun fact about myself. I'm a little weird. I like to pour the milk before the cereal. Yeah. And then I like to pour the milk before the cereal, and then scoop it off the ground with my bowl. All right, my name is Fisher Allen. Thank you guys so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, keeping it going for Vasishta. Keep it going for the guy trying to figure out the light stand instead of the mic stand. Who walked off with the mic stand? Can anyone tell me that? All right, you ready for your next comedian? All right, so earlier in the spring, Lou Lofton and I worked with some folks out west doing a program called Science Riot, where we actually took real scientists and had them do a 10-minute set, and we actually performed it during the Atlanta Science Festival. We're trying to do another encore show of that and get other people involved. So if you are a scientist, by all means, talk to us afterwards, and we might get you involved in that program. So this is one of our scientists from the Science Riot show. She's absolutely hilarious, but she does have the advantage of not really having to write jokes, because she teaches sex ed to middle school kids. Please welcome to the stage a very funny lady, the one, the only, Nicole Blakemore.
So I have the most coveted job in the world, teaching preteens with chemicals. As an 8th grade science teacher, I get to lay the foundations. We learn to identify subatomic particles and Newton's laws in action. We learn to properly conduct controlled experiments and analyze our data. And we learn to never lick the Petri dish. Teaching middle school is also about some life foundations. Freeman, there is a limit to how many mashed potatoes one should consume. Jacob, Marin, Vuk, an emergency drill is never the time for the Macarena. And neither is 2019. If you stick your AirPod up your nose, it will get stuck. Freeman? And when you're writing a research paper, it is never okay to use a website called NetFacts for free or The Onion. Now, when I was in my first year, people asked me all the time if I frowned until October. Management based on fear. That doesn't work for me. I smile when I'm sleeping. I have like resting puppy dog face. I manage my class based on 3 things. 1, make them think. 2, make them want what we can give them. And 3, explain what will happen if you lick the Petri dish. Middle schoolers are also known for their fascination in body parts, and I have a closet full of them. A bisected pig, a pregnant cat, human ear bones, and like any good science classroom, like all those jars with things floating in them. And there are always more jars because some teacher will open a cabinet they never have, and there's like a sheep head looking back at them, and they think, Nicole, she's into weird shit. And I'm like, the first time kids really zone out in my class, I like to tell them we're going to have a brain break. And in the traditional middle school classroom, that means like some coloring sheets or you throw around a cush ball. But in my class, when I say we're going to have a brain break, I take out a Tupperware container and I pull out a brain. And they always want to know, gosh, damn. They always want to know, I'm just not going to stand there. Where did you get it? So I always tell them the truth. This was my grandmother's brain. Management based on fear. The second time they zone out in my class, I like to throw in the word sex. Now, middle school kids will laugh at anything that could remotely be construed as sexual. You accidentally call a spherical object a ball, they lose their minds. You want the sum of 35 and 34? Game over. But you mentioned the word sex, they're like, cool. I can talk about sex. We always talk about sex. I really love teaching sex ed. When I was a student in college, I taught in a human cadaver lab. And so I had a lot of practice teaching sex ed. And I will tell you, the only job that gets you more pity stares than saying you teach middle school is explaining to people that you teach reproductive anatomy to undergraduates using some dead man's junk. The job is pretty similar, though. You know that in both jobs, there's that one asshole who's like carving the outline of a cartoon penis into his lab table. And speaking of penises, smooth transition. I used to teach the internal anatomy of them, and if you can get over the act of slicing one open, you can see the internal anatomy, and it's fascinating. Now, the corpus cavernosum runs laterally to the corpus spongiosum beneath. These are the tissues that fill with blood during an erection, and they're all found in the shaft of the penis. And you can identify them by their deep red color. But don't dwell on that. It's weird. It has to be all business when you're teaching the parts of a labeled bisected penis to a group of KU football players. It is not all business when you are teaching middle school. If kids are not interested in my class with the Tupperware brain and the sex references, then I have one last trick for them. My terrible singing voice. Yeah. Now, I think that all middle school teachers should have a guitar. One thing you should know about me is I don't really know how to play it. Also, I write songs that are objectively a little weird. This one is kind of like a love song about the kidneys. It's called You're in Love. Well, the only organ that love songs and poetry ever talk about is the heart. But if you want to convey your love in a much truer way, I suggest a different place to start. Yes, I know they're only 10 centimeters, maybe more if you're taller. But no one can deny that your kidneys are baller. Yes, I love your kidneys, 'cause without them you can't win. Yeah, baby, I would never want you to die in your own poison. And you know whenever I see you, my heart just races. Good thing my kidneys are maintaining homeostasis. There is a second verse. Would you like it? All right. There's so many things racing through my mind when you're holding my hand. I bet you have one excellent functioning suprarenal gland. Remember that the medulla produces hormones for fight or flight. But you don't need to go anywhere, darling. You and me are so right. So let's stick together. Nothing makes more sense than us. We should be tighter than the capillaries of the glomerulus. Yes, I love your kidneys. Ooh, 'cause without them you can't win. Yeah, baby, I would never want you to die in your own poison. And you know, whenever I see you, my heart just races. Good thing my kidneys are maintaining homeostasis. Good night, everybody.
Keep it going for Nicole Blakemore, ladies and gentlemen. Nicole Blakemore, yes. So no wonder the dirty jokes didn't work earlier. You were actually mouthing homeostasis the first verse through. So, all right, I guess we're going to stick with nerd jokes the whole way through. Yeah, I got to did anyone get excited when she was doing the Spongiosa thing there with the hands? And for me, that counts as foreplay at my age, Nicole. You know, as old guys, we often wonder, you know, about the erectile dysfunction medicine that, you know, you take it and then magically you end up sitting in separate bathtubs on the beach. I thought that was weird until I realized at my age, that's as good as your sex life gets. Honey, you want to come over to my bathtub? No, I got the game on over here. I'm good. All right, so nerd jokes. That's what we're going to be doing. And to continue that tradition of nerd jokes, your next comedian, ladies and gentlemen, he's a computer science major at Georgia Tech, one of our newer members of the Geekapalooza Comedy Tour. Please welcome to the stage the one, the only, Ryan Mazami.
All right, what is up? Woo, come on. All right, thank you. All right, who here is from Atlanta? Ooh, okay, so that means like some of you had to travel here for Dragon Con? Good stuff. Yeah, some people think Dragon Con is like the Comic Con of the East. I think Comic Con is the Dragon Con of the West. Fuck that. Anyway, so I was actually in D.C. for the entire summer, and I got back to Atlanta, and I was like walking down the street, and first thing I saw was this homeless guy, and he came up to me, and he was just like, hey dude, hey buddy, come here. And I was like, no. And he was like, hey, come on, shake my hand. You won't turn black in the morning. Which was weird, because he was Chinese. Yeah. So, yeah, they say, I was talking to somebody, and they said comics are just people with big egos and low self-esteem. And I do not have a big ego. Anyway, actually, I started doing stand-up around like January of last year, and it was pretty fun. I remember the first time I went, I didn't even have a car. I had a bike to all the shows, which is fine because I go to Tech. It's all cool. But I was biking to my first show, and I saw a group of people like out back, and I was like, oh, those are the comedians. So, you know, locked up my bike, went down, I was like standing next to them, and I was just like, wait a minute, these are just homeless people. It's like, wait, no, these are the comedians. and there's some of my best friends here today. Yeah, so I noticed like a weird trend in my high school where like parents would name their children after like what they wanted them to grow up to become. Like someone named their son like Unique, I think. And they're like, oh, like I named him Unique because I want him to be unique. Well, you should have named him Bullied because that's what he was in high school. This one's kind of stupid, but I'm gonna tell it to you guys anyway since we're so close. They say nice guys finish last. That's true. Nice guys do finish last. Because if you really are nice, you'll let her finish first. Yeah. So I was watching an animal documentary, and it was interesting because it was like this animal mates for life. The koala bear entangles its tail with its partner and stays with it for the rest of its life. And I was just thinking, like, what would happen if an alien had a documentary on humans? This animal tries to mate for life. It gets people to come in and help it mate for life, but it is easily distracted by any member of the opposite sex. Yeah, so I was actually visiting the hospital recently. As I was going in, I noticed all of the handicapped cars on one side, and then all the electric cars right next to the elevator. And that's when you know the rich just outclass the poor, when you have to walk farther with a broken leg because you don't own a Tesla. Yeah, so I actually moved into my new apartment recently, and the tricky thing about moving into like an apartment when you're like a younger person is like you don't really get to choose what you get, right? So you show up and there's just like a bunch of random stuff from the last person. And when I showed up, there was an absurd amount of toenail clippings and condoms. I know, gross. Who the fuck wears a condom? I got it all cleaned up. But I think I missed one of the unused condoms because like as I'm sitting in my like new apartment, it's like completely clean. My landlord comes in to like give me the rundown of like all the stuff I have to do, and his eyes just fall to this one unused condom on the ground. And I had to explain to him that I did not just show up and mark my territory by throwing a condom on the ground and claiming this land like as my own. Because how weird would that be? You like go to Waffle House, throw a condom on the ground, go to a comedy show. I'm not going to throw out a condom on the ground. Go to like TSA pre-check, throw a condom on the ground. Yeah. It would kind of be like the Lion King movie, you know? Everything the condom touches is my kingdom. Yeah, so I was reading in the paper of like this kooky lawyer who like works in DC while I was there, and I got the chance to meet him, and he was always like saying the most random stuff, like he's like, people will come up to me and they'll be like, I didn't do it, and I'm like, bro, you're gonna go to jail. I'm gonna make it less jail, but you're probably gonna go to jail. It's like I said on your 7th DUI, stop drinking. And he was telling me of this one case. He's like, the cases that are the hardest are the ones where like I know the person didn't do it. And this one guy came up and he was like charged for like grand larceny or something. And he's like, I didn't do it. And in Virginia, the charges for grand larceny is like 5 to 10 years. So the lawyer like pleads the case, he fights for it, and he gets it down to 6 months. And he's so happy. He's like, I'm gonna go celebrate with him. And he tells the guy's like, I didn't do it. I don't want 6 months. So he goes in, gets the case down to nothing. He appeals and gets it down to nothing. And as they're in the courtroom, and the client puts his hand up like a Rocky moment, the officer comes and handcuffs him and puts him back down. And he takes him away, and he's like, I don't know what happened. And then he gets a call like a week later, and he's like, Mr. Anderson. I don't know if that was his name. But he's like, Mr. Anderson, to the lawyer. He's like, I got caught for selling drugs. And he was like, I'm not going to represent you again. Like, you still owe me like a ton of money from the last case. And he's like, I don't have any money. That's why I was selling drugs to pay for the last case. Yeah. I think that's all I have. Thank you guys for being an amazing crowd.
All right, keep it going for Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Mazzami. Yes. So I didn't quite hear the answer. So make some noise if you are not from Georgia. Okay, good. So, he was trying to welcome you here. We do want to welcome you to Georgia. And for those of you not from Georgia, you may understand that Georgia is called the Peach State because the number one producer of peaches in the United States is South Carolina. Sometimes Florida, depends on the year. So calling us the Peach State, that's kind of a weird thing. It's not a real good name for the state. We tried out some other mottos as well. We tried, New Hampshire's got Live Free or Die. We tried Eat Peaches or Die. That didn't work out very well either. And then we thought, well, let's take Vegas's motto. Everybody knows Vegas's motto. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We tried what happens in Georgia. Hopefully it doesn't involve your first cousin. That didn't do well either. So welcome to Georgia, for those of you that are from out of town. And let me bring up your next comedian. She's a very funny lady. I performed with her a number of different times. Hopefully me clinically prepping you for dirty jokes will get things going. Please, I hope she's going to tell some dirty jokes so I don't look like a total ass up here. Please welcome to the stage the one, the only, Crystal Pierce.
All right. Hey. Oh, penis. All right. Let's get it going. So who had a good summer? Yeah. Did you guys have a hot girl summer, hot boy summer? Yes. Back in my day, we used to call it hoe season. That's just, it wasn't nothing about, no, it was, yes, the heat will be out, and so will these titties and a sundress, these legs, you're going to catch all of it. And it's cool because hoe season was very fun for my friends. I never really got to participate. I would always try, but I'm more of like a hoe coach. Like I'm just really good at pointing out the dudes who probably don't have an STD. Like, oh, he look like he got a clean dick, girl. You should go over there and talk to him. He look like he go get tests and everything. Like a responsible man with his dick, Go holler at him. And my friends are always so nervous. And I'm like the best wingman ever because I'm just like, I just take 5 shots. I go up to a guy. I'm like, hey, see that girl? Yeah, I know I came up to you, but she's really interested in you. And she doesn't have a gag reflex, so I don't know. Maybe it'd be worth you just going to see hi. Say hi to her. At a point, my friend is like, I don't think you're a hoe coach. You just sound like a madam. It's not getting paid. And so now my friends are confused as to why I'm asking them for $5 on cash. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. Like $5, $10 here and there. You got 5 dicks. I don't have any, okay? I'm getting you meals and flights and shit. I just need something off the top, I'm going to be real nice to you. I'm never going to hit you, I'm going to make sure you're going to have the best girl if you come with me. I don't know. I just trying to pimp these girls out and just be good to them. So I tried to participate this year. I was like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna have a hoe season. I deserve, I'm gonna throw this pussy out to the pavement, see who grab it first, just see who snatches it up real quick. And I talked to God about it because I do believe in the Lord. And to say, hey God, so really quick, it's your daughter Crystal. I'm going to just I'm going to chill with Satan for like 2 months. We going to have a good time. We going to get drunk. We going to smoke. We going to fuck, but I'm still going to come see you every Sunday. It's all good. Don't get shocked, and I'll be back to my regular activities in September. It's a pumpkin spice season, We'll be calmed down a little bit. And so the good Lord knows me very well. And he was like, okay. Like, I would like to see you try because I do know you, and that's the problem. See, I don't think you're capable, but I'm rooting for you. We're all up here in heaven. We all rooting for you, girl. We want you to go out here. Go get 5 dicks. Let's just see what happens. Take them out. I just want to see if you can do it. So you go out to the clubs, You drink your glass of vodka in peace, And the first place I mess up is I'm actually from a lovely city in Georgia called Decatur. Yeah, Zone 6, what up? I'm from Decatur, which, and the white people get very excited. Oh my God, Decatur! I was just there for the wine festival. And I'm like, oh, it's the wrong part, girl. You got to go across the railroad tracks, child. Just where the blacks are. And it's real hood, right? So they always try to like come through and fake gentrify it. You'll see this in the hood. They'll just start repaving fucking streets, putting up lights where they don't belong. And I just come through and I shoot them bitches down. Like, we don't need to see these chicken spots in poverty. We don't need to see none of this shit going on. We like it dark over here. Yeah, and it's great because I'm from there, but I know I don't sound like, and I also cannot dance. And the hip hop makes it so easy. It's like, throw that ass in a circle and you throwing that bitch in a semicolon. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do with it. You got a lot of ass and titty, but just nothing to do with it, you know? So you go out to the clubs and nice young gentlemen, they hop up on your hindquarters. They just smack up on it and just like, oh my God, hello, sir, how are you? Yes, would you like a dance? I don't know what, yes, I'll bend over. I assume position, you know, and then you're trying to, you know, get to know him and you're like, hey, so what house are you? I'm a Ravenclaw. You like a Slytherin baby, little Hufflepuff, you know, something nasty. And he's like, I live in an apartment. I don't know what you're talking about. Strike one. I'm a sapiosexual. If we're not in the same house, if you're not like Slytherin or Ravenclaw, if you don't even know what it is, your dick can't go in my mouth. You understand what I'm saying? So you hop on Tinder trying to swipe right for some dick, you know what I'm saying? And you basically, guys, we make it so easy. We're giving you a cheat code to our pussies, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what do you like to do on the weekend? I don't know. I like to hide from the world and watch anime and Harry Potter. Right? What's your idea of a perfect date? Chicken wings. Side of Tito's. Preferably a handle. Cool. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? Obese. I'm just going to be honest. Right? And so you go out on a date with these guys, right? And you sit down and you're pretending to fake get to know each other. I'm not interested in what the fuck you got to say. You know? Just trying to see if you got a clean dick. Right? That's all I want to know. That's end and short. And so you sit down, and what the date should go like is, hi, Crystal, nice to meet you. I brought you a plate of chicken wings, a side of Tito's, and I just got through watching Hunter and Harry Potter at the same time. We know that's not possible, right? But what that's going to do for me is like, cool. Let me take 10 shots and let's go fuck in the street, right? No. What do? They sit down in front of you and they go, so I just got out of a relationship. Oh, okay. I didn't know I was signing up for therapy. I didn't know that's what we was doing over here. It's all good though. Who in here likes to shop? For things. Everybody, right? I love shopping. I like that the white people have adapted something that we've been doing for a long time, we as in blacks. Layaway. I love it. You guys, it's on everybody's website now. You could just pay shit off with installments. I can afford my lifestyle now. It's awesome. So I tried it out on a sex website, right? Well, sex toys. And I had my high on this like little knockoff Hitachi one, and it's like $90. And it was like, do you want to pay the full price today, or do you want to pay it off in installments? And I said, well, fuck. Installments. Put $20 down on that thing, and we'll be coming tomorrow, and we'll just slowly take it out of the banking account. So I got a new vibrator. It was awesome. She's teal. Her name is Susan B. Anthony. Great woman, and we don't have no problems. But what happened is I am a drunk, irresponsible adult, and I lost my debit card, which essentially made me miss a payment on my vibrator. And they emailed me, and they were like, hey, Crystal, hope you're enjoying that new thing that you got from Unbound Babes. So here's the thing. You missed a payment. And I was like, oh, so what the fuck you gonna do? You gonna take my vibrator back? All my pussy juices over it and shit? You gonna repossess this vibrator? No, you're not. I paid it off, guys. Don't worry. I don't want that shit to fuck up my credit, but you know, I could have had it for $20. Who in here is good at sexting? I don't know. You guys are doing that a lot these days. Nobody in here is a sexual text message? I'm old. I can't do it, you know. So another reason why I couldn't have a whole season is, you young gentlemen like to send dick pics, which I love. I love that. It's like a nice advertisement. Like, here's a little sneak peek of what you got coming to you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let me send it to my group chat. Let me just see. That's my property. You gave me your dick, right? It's consent. Let me send it to 20 other bitches. Like, do you recognize this dick? Also, the nurses and the doctors in the group chat, can you check that thing for mumps? Is it clean? Can we suck and fuck on it? What do you think? I've got my friends' husbands texting me like, hey, please stop texting my wife at 2 o'clock in the morning with dick pics. What are you doing, Crystal? So your friend gives you the green light and is like, yeah, go ahead, have some fun out there in them streets, right? And so the young guy texts you back the next morning and says, good morning, beautiful. And you're like, oh, okay, hi. Greetings and salutations, sir. It's nice to hear from you. And he's like, yeah, so is that pussy ready for me? And it's like, my God, at 8:30 in the morning? I wasn't. I mean, she wasn't. I mean, but she can get prepared. If needed. I'm the type of person that is very, like, what do you call that? I can do a lot of things that want multitasking. I'm good at that. So I usually, work on one computer, porn on another computer. Got to have some bukkake in the background, some nice hentai for your seasoning, and then a crock pot recipe on the third screen. It's just a lot of going on, right? And so it's just like, yeah, man, this pussy's ready for you. This bitch is falling off the bone. And the thing is, it's appropriate for crock pot recipes, right? Nice little short rib. The meat just dripping off the bone. And I get caught up in the moment, right? I get turned on. It's a lot of sexy things happening. It's got money on one screen, lots of tentacle dicks on the other screen, prime rib on this screen. I got turned on, and I text that young man that my pussy was falling off the bone. And I never heard from him again. Contrary to belief, they will take a lot of pussy, but they won't take it if it's not on the bone where it belongs. They won't take it. But you guys have been wonderful. I've been Crystal. Thank you.
Keep it going for Crystal Pierce. Crystal Pierce, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So she tells vibrator on layaway jokes and pussy falling off the bone, and I can't get away with one joke about the chemistry of personal lubricant. I'm shocked and appalled. I got to admit, it's probably the shirt I'm wearing. Nerds Kick Ass does not exactly say, yeah, I'm going to tell dirty jokes for the next 10 minutes. But if you are a nerd, I am a tenured faculty member at Georgia Tech, so we don't always get raises every year. I'll be selling these for $20 after the show in case you want them. But in case you don't believe I can tell dirty jokes, I do sell another shirt. This is time for some cheap plugs in the middle of the thing. I do a thing on the science of cannabis on the science track here every once in a while. So if you're into the number 9 stereochemically correct structure of tetrahydrocannabinol, you can pick this one up for $20 afterwards as well. I actually use it as a visual aid because we do research on extracting cannabinoids from hemp. And speaking of cheap gratuitous plugs, I want to introduce your next comedian. He's a good friend of mine. We've appeared all over the Atlanta area together, and he actually hosts a really great comedy show is it Tuesday or Monday? Every other Monday at the Sweetwater Brewery, so you should check it out. He's a very, very funny guy. Please welcome to the stage the one, the only, Jeremy Meese.
Wow, what is up? This is cool. This is amazing. You might not believe it right now, ladies and gentlemen. There are a lot of people that are actually working while we're all hanging out, having a good time. Could you give all those folks a round of applause, doing the sound, working the door, doing all this stuff? This is beyond cool. This is just what I needed. My day started off with a rejection letter from Christian Mingle. It's not what you think. It was actually a reply to an email I sent them with the greatest slogan suggestion of all time. Christian Mingle, for when you feel that Christian tingle. Right. Thank you. They shot it down. Which is stupid because I think it's way better than one of the commercials they have now, which goes Christian, single. I always expect that to end with coincidence. Speaking of commercials, I saw one the other day for an apartment community advertising endless walking trails. Does that not scare the shit? Anybody else? When's it going to end? Speaking of advertising, I saw a billboard on the way here tonight that said in big letters, addicted. And underneath in smaller letters, it said pills, painkillers, opiates. And I was like, keep going. 2, 3 more, you're going to get me. I got in a car accident the other day. Don't worry, it wasn't bad. Barely knocked the phone out of my hands. It's getting bad out there, isn't it? Yeah, you pull up to every corner, you look left, you look right, we're all on our phones. That's why I think all red lights should be Wi-Fi hotspots. I like you guys. You laughed and you shut right the fuck up. That is handy. But alas, texting and driving is illegal, which is stupid because it doesn't stop anyone. We need to be safer on the roads, but if you want to solve this problem, you don't make texting and driving illegal. You make it part of the driver's test. All right, we're going to pull away from the curb. Why don't you go ahead and bring up Pandora? Nothing on that channel. Create a whole new channel. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to parallel park. Go ahead and text your mom, I love you. Right now. All caps. Don't dictate that shit. I appreciate Dr. Pete saying my name correctly. It's Jeremy Meese. Some people have trouble with my last name. I think it's really easy. It's just 4 letters. M-E-S-I. Here's what's cool. It's like talking about yourself, but with a positive affirmation in Spanish. Let's try it all together once, shall we? Me? Like half of you don't like yourself. Everybody, even you in the back, this feels good. You should do this every day when you wake up. Do it all together with me right now. Me? Yes. But 9 times out of 10, people go with messy. And I could see how you'd get there, but that's going to be your first guess? Mr. Messy? I mean, even if you walked up to me, right? I'm trying to sound out your little 4-letter name, and I'm like, all right there, Mr. Oh, hang on. C-U-N-T. Right? I'm still going to be like, Mr. Canunt? Mr. Kunt. No. Mr. Katunta. No. I consider myself an environmentalist. I do. I make sure every week that my recycling bin is full of bottles. It's a joke, guys. That's a joke. I drink cans. Yeah. I'm kidding. I don't recycle. The other thing I do for the environment is not having kids. You're welcome. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, not having kids is so green, I'm actually allowed to litter. Yeah. Should have my own lane on the highway. I should. I don't have kids, but I have dogs. When people find that out, though, they say, well, you probably treat your dogs like kids. And to that I say, fuck no. Treat my dogs way better than kids. Wow. I do. In the animal kingdom, my dogs are 1%ers. I'm kidding. My wife wants to treat the dogs like kids. She wants to sleep with the dogs in the bed. You know, because who doesn't want to wake up every morning to the sound of 3 dogs lapping their vaginas? That's nice. What else happened recently? Oh, this happened just the other day. A small Asian woman tried to tell me I smoked too much weed. Yeah, apparently if you stop on Wednesday to pick up the dry cleaning, you already picked up on Tuesday. Little Asian lady will say, "You smoke too much weed!" And that was not racist. That was a 100% accurate impression. You guys just don't know her. And I don't. Like you guys, I only smoke pot on occasion. And if you're anything like me, you believe every day's an occasion. I'll tell you what I don't mess with, though. The wake and bake. Yeah, I think we all know what the wake and bake is. Yeah, last time I did that, I lost 2 hours of my life in the shower. Convinced I could invent a cordless shower head. Yeah. And then I used a blinker pulling out of my driveway. Don't smoke pot, that's my message. But it's good for you, those of you here in from out of town to come to Atlanta. You get to find out one very cool fact. Right here in Atlanta, we have many, 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 many restaurants. That's right. We've got a lot of restaurants. If you want to go to your Hooters, for example, I'm sorry, spoiler alert, that place is about breasts. It's not a lot of owl enthusiasts walking into the Hooters, right? Tilted Kilt, none of those girls are Scottish. Not a one of them, no. But the new one I found in Buckhead is called Twin Peaks. Yes. Apparently for those of you that like breasts on mountain climbers. I don't understand, why is there this whole cloak and dagger, like bait and switch with the theme? I mean, come on, we know what these places are about, right? Here's my idea. Let's call the place Boobies. No, because you know what'll happen. We'll go there. Yeah, that's it. But it got me thinking a little bit further. Where are the restaurants for you ladies? You might like to appreciate the male anatomy. Maybe have girls' night out at a place called the Junkyard. The Package Store? The Nut Hut? I don't know. And why are these restaurants just restricted to lunch and dinner, right? Where are the breakfast restaurants? We might want to see some titties at the Waffle House. Okay, not those titties. We'll bring in some new titties. We'll call it the Brothel House. Yes, that's right. Yeah. But the bigger question still remains. Where are the restaurants for the guys that like small breasts? Right? We might enjoy some chicken wings at a place called Bee Stings. Maybe have a couple of beers over at Tic Tacs. Why not? Oh, I'm sorry, you like Italian? We'll go to Little Italy. No problem. Delicious. I'm going to leave you guys tonight with a story about the most traumatic experience I've ever had in my life, and it's not even close. I once had my home destroyed by a tornado. It's an absolutely true story. My house, direct hit. And it's true what they say, if you're in your home and a tornado is descending and the walls are all shaken, it really sounds like someone shit in their pants. Thought I'd hear a freight train, but not over that dump. It was loud. And it was scary, too. Check this out. 7 100-foot pine trees were literally thrown at my house. The next morning, my neighbor came out and said, "Jeremy, have you taken the time to thank God?" I said, "You know, Bill, I haven't really ruled him out as a suspect. Pretty sure he's the one that attacked me." Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your con. Have a good night.
All right, keep it going for Jeremy Meese, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy Meese. Yeah. He's right about kids, about, treating them better or worse than your dogs. My dogs treat me better than my kids, so I understand what he's going through. But he's right about the restaurants. I never thought about that. Jeremy used to appear with me at an open mic we did at the Tilted Kilt. How many people have been to the Tilted Kilt? This make Hooters look like a nunnery, basically, right? These skirts are just way up here, and I can't believe it. We did a show on like a Monday night at 9:30 at night. That's when we started. And the owner walked up to us after about 3 weeks and said, could you keep it cleaner than you're doing it so far? I'm like, your waitresses are dressed like prostitutes, and you want us to watch the potty mouth thing? They went out of business 3 weeks later. Maybe that's why. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got another member of the Geekapalooza Comedy Tour. She's actually been with it for quite a while. She is a computational media major and a hilariously funny lady. Please welcome to the stage the one, the only, Tess Green.
Hello, hello. My name's Tess Green. I'm a fifth-year undergrad at Georgia Tech, but by credit hours, I'm a sophomore. And you can tell how much Pete cares about me because he knows my major is biomedical engineering, which means half my classmates are trying to cure cancer, and the other half are trying to build fuck bots. And that's not even broken down by gender. There's a lot of girls in the fuckbot capstone. Like, and I get it. Why would you want an engineer's dick when you could have an engineered dick? When I'm on campus, I try to give dating advice, mostly because the IT department is getting really annoyed that we use all the campus bandwidth for porn. All the computers have viruses, but the campus doesn't have one STD. The health center always gives out free condoms, but I don't think anybody uses them. I just find them on the sidewalk outside of the frats. And I know what's hard. I mean, I don't. It's actually very easy. I'm bisexual, so it's like, God love me more. But it's like, it comes with its benefits. And I think it makes it a little statistically more sad when you're single, but we're better people because we don't judge someone for their sex. We want them based on their earning potential. I don't care about your genitals. I want a dual-income household with no kids. And I know some of you may be unfamiliar. You're not sure. What's the difference between bi and pansexual people? And it comes down to how far up they cuff their jeans. Because bisexuals like me, we keep it very close to the shoe. It's very neat. It's clean because we have morals. The pansexuals don't respect their goddamn Levi's. Roll it up till it's a goddamn capri. Showing off ankle like a 13th century whore. And unlike the rest of us queers, the pants don't come out of the closet, they come out of the cabinet. I do love that joke because I always see people checking their jeans afterwards. There's always that one frat guy who's like, bro, I didn't know it was a rule. You know my ankles get hot. And I was never sure if I was putting the vibe out, like if people could tell I swung both ways, until very recently. I was walking across campus, and just out of nowhere, this girl just appears, like out of the bushes. I did not see her, and then she was right here. And she was like, are you interested in the rugby club? And I was like, yeah, I'm interested. How'd you know? And she was putting out all the lesbian vibes. And I don't know how to describe them. I just know my gaydar was saying, carry an umbrella because you're going to get wet. And I've never played rugby, but I've heard there's hookers, so I'm in. I think the hardest part, though, is when you first get that new crush, you're head over heels, and you don't know how to approach them, so you start crawling through their social media, hoping it's acceptable. You know what's not acceptable? Stalking their LinkedIn. LinkedIn's not for that. Because that's not even something you can bring up after you start the relationship. That's divorce material. Because you'll find out things that you're not supposed to know and aren't even helpful. Like, it's just, like, people understand it if you get on their Facebook or their Instagram. Like, it's a little weird, but people can convince themselves to feel flattered instead of digitally violated. But when it's their LinkedIn, people worry. So I was on my crush's LinkedIn. And this was before I realized that people can see if you've looked at their LinkedIn page. Amateur mistake, I know. But I found out that he had an internship with Japanese fuckbots, which is great because I also had an internship with American Fuckbots. And I was like, this is great. We've got so much in common. We have so much to talk about, except I can't bring it up because I found out on his LinkedIn page. So I got to figure out how to bring up my experience with the fuckbots so he can talk about his experience with the fuckbots, and I can be like, oh my God, I had no idea. This is about the time I hope my crush is not in the audience. Or that he doesn't know you can see who looked at your LinkedIn page. And I know LinkedIn sends you notifications about that. I just hope that he is not inquisitive or very forgiving. Because I should have had a girlfriend do that. Like, not a girlfriend, but like the straights will get it. But it's like, gentlemen, I don't know if you get it, that girls treat dating as a team sport. Because you got the girl who's on their social media, you got your friend who has their access to their medical records, you got that one cousin in the government who's running the background check. Like, if you're on a second date, we have your credit score. We know your exes. We know your parents' retirement plan. We don't need to see your baby photos. We found those. But don't be freaked out. Be flattered. And when I'm talking to the students, I always try to address, Georgia Tech has a very bad anxiety problem, and I'm like, we need to practice self-care. And I specifically want to address the gentlemen, because I think you have trouble treating others like humans. So you need to be gentler. You know, compliment your buddy, ask your bro how he's doing, check his prostate, show your concern. And girls, we take better care of each other, but even our compliments can be backhanded. Like, a friend of mine today was like, oh my gosh, you're so brave to wear that. Like, that's such a cute Ace Ventura costume. And I'm like, this was just the outfit. I'm not Jim Carrey. Anyway. But I think as students, we also have to be very careful of how much we drink and how much we party. Because you know they love dancing at alpha, beta, gonorrhea. But you need to bring hand sanitizer. And if you're feeling bad, here's what I do. You go down to the rec center, you find the weights section, you ignore the prof whose short shorts are like not covering his balls. You just focus on the muscle and the six-figure earning potential, and you pretend you're the Bachelorette. But you also need to be healthy yourself. I mean, 10,000 steps a day, it's not that bad. It's just Sublime Donuts to Mac's Liquor Store. But I always close out with one final lesson, and it's that you need to shoot your shot. I mean, especially if you're LGBT. You need to try your luck, because the worst thing they can say is no. And we didn't fight for marriage equality for you to have the love life of a damn CS major. Thank you.
Nice job. All right, keep it going for Tess Green, ladies and gentlemen. Tess Green, yes. So the last time we appeared together was, I think, in the spring when we were both appearing in front of alumni for the CS department. I'm glad you enjoyed those jokes because they did not go over quite as well in front of the CS folks. But that whole fuckbot thing is kind of interesting. I did an audition for a TV show that was on for maybe a couple of years called Smash Lab, and it didn't do particularly well because I think they picked the wrong folks. On the second day of filming, I was sitting around with a guy from MIT who said, and I thought for sure they would pick this guy to host the show. He said, I used to do some consulting for sexmachines.com because until I showed up and they had someone who understood something about hydraulics, a lot of the ladies were getting hurt. So that sexbot thing is actually kind of important. And it's funny, if you do get a chance to go to Georgia Tech and go to Capstone Design, it is open to the public, right? So look up Capstone Design at Georgia Tech. It's open to the public. Every semester they have it. It's at the McCamish Pavilion. So they have thousands of people there. I'm actually a judge for this, and she's absolutely right. Biomedical engineering, sorry for getting the major wrong, produces some weird-ass stuff. My favorite one, we actually had someone from public policy who came out there and they did a thing on their thesis for a policy for medical marijuana, and they were giving away free brownies. Everyone took the brownies and then looked at them and then wondered, and they weren't really sure, but it was really good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring up your next comedian of the evening. This is a guy who actually helps me organize the Geekapalooza Comedy Tour, and we actually teach a course together called the Humor Genome Project. He's a very funny guy. Please welcome to the stage, and this is in no way indicative of how funny he is, the Associate Vice President of Research Computing. He's a lot funnier than that, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only, Lou Lefton.
Hello, Dragon Con. Some very scary costumes out there, aren't there? Some like really kind of freaky, uncanny valley costumes. But I'm the scariest costumes you've seen tonight. I'm pretty sure if they can zoom in on this, you'll see it's something very wrong. This is not human, but it's not human. It's overeducated, middle-aged white guy in a mask. Ah! That's scary. It's worse. It's a heteronormative, cisgender, overeducated, middle-aged white guy in a mask at Dragon Con. Now that's fucking weird. All right, so. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, Pete and I work together at Georgia Tech. I'm happy to be here. I was playing a game today. There's some game players out here, yeah? My wife said, "Oh, there's this cool game. I just learned it. You pick 2 random letters and you shout them out in any order." It was okay. 2, 3. Thank you. I got 1. Kareet. I win that bet. Yeah. This Skeptic track is being live streamed. Did you guys know that? Yes, Derek knew that. That's good. It's not a surprise to Derek. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it's and I'm a little worried because they say when you go on television you put on 10 pounds. I don't know when you go on YouTube if there's actually like a Chrome plugin that can control how many pounds you put on. I think that would be fun. But we are live. It's I got to say, and Crystal mentioned this. I'm also actually living over in Decatur. I am on the south side of the tracks with all the cool folks, I guess. But anyone here know anything about the street names in that city? It's really weird. I found out just the other day that the mayor of Decatur lives on Missionary Court. And I thought, well, that's pretty progressive. They're naming streets after sexual positions in that city. But no, that couldn't be, except that then I saw there was an open house, and it was advertised on the corner of, Reverse Cowgirl and Smith. Kind of cool. Thank you on the Reverse Cowgirl joke. That's nice. Cybersecurity is pretty important. This is a Skeptic Crack. You guys need to be skeptical. Cybersecurity, you got to check who you're actually, online. You don't know, right? You got to be sure. There's authentication. You guys familiar with this? There's a lot of folks now using 2-factor authentication. You guys applaud if you're familiar with this thing. A couple, yeah. This is Dragon Con. I expect some geek cred, right? It's it's something that like your password, but also something that you have, like a token or a key. And there's the biometric things, like it's your eye or your voice or your face. There's even one I saw that's like a little thing you plug into your computer, and it tests your DNA. Have you seen that? It'll like prick your finger, but it can use saliva, presumably semen. I don't know. There's a keyboard that's already authenticated if you've used it once for some of the guys. I'm not sure how that works. All right. So apparently Pete introduced me as a mathematician, so I'm going to have to that's all right. I'm going to have to do a few math jokes. Any math majors out there? Any people who love mathematics? Oh, yeah? Seriously? You're not just pandering? Excellent. That's really good to know. I am a mathematician. I love math. I use math all the time. I use complex numbers when I balance my checkbook. Super convenient. You've got the real part. That's what the bank thinks you have. And then the imaginary part, which is completely independent, and that's what you're spending. Yeah, I have 3 daughters. We had a first child, then we had twins, and then my wife, who's also a mathematician, and I had to stop because we weren't sure at that point. 1, 2. It could have been an arithmetic or a geometric progression. So Could have gone either way. Are we doubling each time? I'm not sure. Either way, pregnancy number 3 is out of the question. Yeah, I've always kind of been interested in math. I sometimes don't make more mathematical interpretations than I kind of overthink things. Like I was in the mall the other day, I saw Victoria's Secret. There was a big sign outside that said, all bras 50% off. I thought, well, that's pretty cool. So I went in the store, and it turned out it was just a sale on bras. So, not what I had imagined. What else? I wrote some new jokes for you guys. Oh, here's something interesting. And maybe this is not new to you, but I think it's worthwhile explaining just to the DragonCon crowd as a public service. Dog years are the same length as people years. Dogs don't go around the sun faster than we do. If your dog is 14, they are 14. That's just how old they are. So there seems to be a lot of misunderstanding about that, and I just wanted to kind of mathematically clear that up. What else? I checked my credit score the other day. There's 3 major credit reporting agencies. You guys know about this. There's Experian, there's Equifax, and TransUnion. And I thought I'd make one that's a little bit more, just maybe a little bit more traditional than TransUnion. I'm going to make a credit reporting agency called Cis Confederate. It'll just sort of focus on the South. I got 2 cis jokes in. That's pretty good for a white guy. What else? Here's another thing I gave. I gave blood the other day. You guys ever donate blood? It's the most depressing thing I do, but I do it because I have a positive thing. The blood bank's always calling you. It's the only way you can get them to stop calling you for a couple weeks. But it's really depressing because you have to fill out that form, right? You have to either pre-check, and it's like, have you had any piercings or tattoos in the last 12 months? No. Have you ever traveled outside the United States for more than? No. No. Have you ever had sex with another man even once? No. Have you ever been in jail? No. It's like I've just drained my blood. There's nothing here worth living for. So that gets you really depressed. What else? I am a mathematician. I liked to, when I was a kid, kind of experiment. I was kind of a little maker. I would take things apart. I had my calculator. It had a factorial button on it, and I reprogrammed the calculator so the factorial button did what I always thought a factorial button should do, so that when you plugged in 15 and you hit the factorial button, the calculator had a little speaker attached and said, 15! I don't even have to explain notation to these people. This is awesome. Yeah. Before I lived in Atlanta, before I came to Georgia Tech, I lived in New Orleans, at the University of New Orleans, as I was a faculty member. Any Louisiana folks? Yeah? Where are you from? New Orleans, of course. That's what I asked. I said Louisiana, New Orleans. My kids all were born and raised in New Orleans, and they, and a lot of people, of course, they associate New Orleans with Mardi Gras, and they think, Mardi Gras, it's all these drunk people. Yeah, show your tits. Yeah, it's all these people throwing up in the streets, and yes, that's happening. But it's much more family friendly if you do Mardi Gras with kids out in the suburbs. You have it's the picnic, and your grandma's there, and everybody's on the ladder and their beads, and it's just a family event. It's like, show your tits, and grandma's like, it's a lot more cool. It's chill. Yeah. So my wife and I did a DragonCon kind of costume for New Orleans and Mardi Gras one year. She wanted to dress up like a theme costume. We should be an angel and a devil, or like a cowboy and an Indian. So she dressed up like a crab, and I dressed up like a yeast infection, which was really fun that year. Had that theme going. She was pregnant one year at Mardi Gras, and she dressed up like a king cake. Some baby inside. All right, that's my Louisiana joke. So I'm going to finish up here. Just got a couple more minutes. You guys like the math jokes? I'm going to do a couple quick math jokes. This is the first my impression of a cheerleader in 8 dimensions. Here we go. Ready? Okay. We'll put you to the tests. We're better than the rest. We're gonna be the best. We're never gonna... My arms are still moving. They're just orthogonal to your 3 right now. All right, and then I will finish off here with my final impression. First, I'm going to test the audience with this other joke. This other joke I wrote. Amazon now makes all these recommendations, you know. I don't know where they get the recommendations. I can't figure it out, because the other day I bought some electric boots, and they suggest that I should get a mohair suit. It's like, where do they get that stuff? Out of a magazine? I don't know. All right, so people got that joke, so you might get this next one. I was testing the age of the audience with that joke. You're older. You recognize old Elton John songs. Some of you did. Some of you think I'm just babbling right now. So this is my impression of Robert Kennedy in geometry class. Quick, get out your phones and Google who the fuck was Robert Kennedy. Imagine I'm standing in front of a board. I've drawn the traditional Cartesian coordinates, the XY plane. Some people look at this vertical axis and they say, why? I distinguish a specific point on the axis and I say, why not? Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of the Geekapalooza Skeptics track.
All right, keep it going for Lou Lefton, ladies and gentlemen. Lou Lefton. And for those of you who would like to see more of Lou Lefton, he's actually co-authored a textbook on high-performance computing, and you can buy that at Amazon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your next comedian, he's actually one of the students that's been with us at the Geekapalooza Comedy Tour the longest. He's an alumnus of Georgia Tech. Even though he's a management major, we consider him honorary geek. Please welcome to the stage the one, the only, Kirit Nimagata.
Hey, keep it going for Pete, Dr. Pete. Yeah, come on. No, come on. He's so sets up this whole thing. He organizes it. He's a good dude. He's good people. First thing I wanted to ask: have you guys see this sign behind me? Yeah. So, well, I mean, I'm skeptical of that. First off, second, I don't know what Calico Cove is or Alico Cove, but I assume it's some kind of godless retreat, and I would like to go there. I think that'd be fun. Anyway, how you guys doing tonight? Okay, cool. Just kind of a woo, couple woos. All right. Were the orgies last night? Were the good ones last night, or were the good ones on Friday? I'm sorry, you're tired? From the orgy? How much of this has to do with orgies? Like 100? I'll take 90. What was the other 10%? Is it Surge? Oh, I definitely want to know. Tell me right now. What was it? What was it? Is it Surge? I'm sorry? Okay, let's go to someone who didn't bring their children to the orgy. The weekend-long orgy party. Why you doing that, man? Why would you do that? Georgia. Oh, okay. Well, Georgia's got the word orgy in it, so I accept. Y'all are wild. Oh, my God. Okay, so I know this is the Skep track, and we're supposed to do skeptical stuff, but between you and me, do you ever notice how the Arby's beef and cheddar is our one true God? It's perfect. It's onion bun, sliced onions on top, heat. You get the sliced roast beef, right? Put that on the bun, heat, a little steam. You want a little steam on there? And that cheese. Oh, it melts. Like various bodily fluids would melt at an orgy. So, son child. I don't know what your name is. What's your name? Gage. What is it? Gage. Gage? Is it Gage? Okay. We are from Georgia. What was the implication there? I don't hang out with them. Okay. So, did you find your own age-appropriate orgy? I'm sorry? With other people of your age, also naked? You were doing what now? You said what? Tell me, what were you doing? What were you doing? I know they ain't got Nintendos in there. What were you doing? What were you doing? Were you just like rolling water bottles across the hall? Like, what were you doing? You were doing what? No, you weren't. That's what the kids say when they're fucking. It's like, Mom, I'm playing Mario Kart and this Rainbow Road. Sorry, that's just what I imagine you sound like. I don't mean to pick on you. It's just that was a weird situation that y'all just openly talked about, you know. So it was just like, son, be quiet. Activities are happening. Where's the damn Nintendo? Okay. I'll go on to some jokes. Okay, well, I guess this is a natural segue. Have any of y'all been in a three-way? Holler if you've been in a three-way. Wait, was that Gage? Was that Gage? Gage, was that you? My man. Who were they? How many Spider-Men? Legally, you have to tell me. There are laws in Georgia, Gage. Were any of them Spider Women? Deadpool? It's kind of everything. You tell me. Okay. So I only ask because I believe that I was party to an accidental three-way. But I want to tell y'all what happened, and I'll let you tell me if it counts. So it wasn't at Dragon Con, incredibly. Right? I was like, bro, I've been coming to Dragon Con every year. Like, what do I have to do? Anyway, so I was at a party, and I was getting sleepy, so I went to bed. And it might have been my bed, I don't know. But I went to sleep, and I woke up like an hour later to a couple fucking on the bed that I was on next to me. Like, I'm here, stool's here, fucking. Right? Like, I looked, and I was just like, and so I just like grabbed a little ass. I don't know whose, but it was a nice tush. Like, sometimes you just get a nice tush. You kind of don't care about the gender of the tush. It's good tush, right? Like, you just, I'm sorry? Yeah. Y'all like good booty? What kind of costume do you want to see your booty in? My man. Gage, listen to him. It's about consent, all right? They all have to be enthusiastic consenters, all right? And that includes Mario Kart. All right. I still can't believe I just went Rainbow Road. Wasn't that wild? That was insane. That was actually insane. And the whole time your parents were fucking. What? They were. You can't all that. That's how they came up with Gage. These are processes. I promise I have other jokes. Okay. So I've always had this idea of a version of the Soviet Union. Y'all remember the Soviet Union, right? Gage doesn't, but the rest of y'all do. I'm sorry? Okay. Okay, whatever. Yeah, it's Georgia. Skip through that whole thing. Just get right to George W. Bush. Anyway, so I have this idea in my head of the Soviet Union where nothing is different about it from what it used to be, except they fucking love Mountain Dew. Like, they're just like, oh, this elixir, oh, He's electric green, and it fills me with hope. Oh, Gorbachev. He says it's good. I say it's good. Americans think this is a joke, but no. Only joke is Sprite. Yeah, that's the whole joke. Y'all think it's weird, and I think we all can agree on this, that even though M&Ms come in all types of colors, that only the brown M&M is like an M&M of color. Like red, yellow, blue, white. Green, white woman, gorgeous. Would smash. Brown, not white. Think about it. Think about it. Gage, what do you think about that? Gage, you ever think about M&Ms? Like sexually? Gage, answer the question. Answer it. M&Ms. You. Me. Orgy. With your consent and the consent of the M&M Mars Company. Think about it. Think about it. Okay. Last joke. I learned this recently that whales, if you can get a whale to jizz, the force of the jizz can tear a human body in half. So I just got to thinking, like, if I was a dictator, that's the only form of capital punishment that will exist, is you're gonna die, and a whale's gonna love it. So naturally, like, you'd have to hire people to be whale jizzers, or I don't know a better name for that other than, I'm sorry? Fluffer? No, that just keeps it hard. You're not finishing as a fluff. You got to think about this. You're not finishing as a fluff. You're maintaining as a fluff. It's not. So, I'm out of time. You guys have been great. Think about whale jizz.
All right, keep it going for Kirit Namagata, ladies and gentlemen. Kirit, yes. I love that. So is there such a thing as an age-appropriate orgy at DragonCon? I didn't know that. I'm going to start looking for an age-appropriate orgy for my age. You can always tell the age-appropriate orgy for people my age, though, because we all have a special safe word at my age. In fact, it's all the same safe word. It's cramp. Trust me, when you hit your mid-50s, you're going to know what I'm talking about. All right, but I love this diverse audience, too, right? Because we've got Gage and the Pervert Squad right there. Right in front of them, a guy actually sleeping through that. So I appreciate that, sir. That's very nice. All right, so before we bring up what I think is your final comedian, unless Ian Harris showed up, unless he does, we've got one more comedian for you tonight. Before I leave, I do want to thank Derek for being stupid enough to inviting us back here again for the 6th year in a row. Without Derek and the Skeptics Tracks, this journey of lunacy and dirty jokes would not be possible. We also want to thank Mark, who it is. Mark is Calico Cove, right? So he's doing all the AV for this. So big round of applause for Mark as well. We do appreciate that. All right, so we've got a special treat for you, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Oakland, California. Please welcome Kay Chang.
Go. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Hey, do you think Thanos jerks off wearing the Infinity Gauntlet? Like the moon is going back and forth? See, the Avengers should have attacked right after he finished because you can't snap your fingers if they're stuck together. There. Oh, thank you so much. Y'all having a good Dragon Con? Oh, I am having a fantastic Dragon Con. Only thing bad that happened, I went up to a dude. I said, man, I love your fat, lazy Thor cosplay. And he said, I'm not in cosplay. Shit. Does anybody get my cosplay? What am I? Anybody? Really? No. Oh, God. I'm Trunks from Dragon Ball. No Dragon Ball fans here, huh? No. Damn. Okay. Scratch that. I had like 10 minutes of Dragon Ball jokes that I was about to do, but I'm going to scratch those. How about Pokemon? We got some Pokemasters here? All right, cool. I need some help with this one. We're going to do a game. It's Guess That Pokemon. This Pokemon is a little bit orange and wears a dead animal on his head. What is it? I heard Marowak. It's actually Donald Trump. There you go. Thanks for stepping on my punchline. Appreciate that. That's all right, this Pokemon wastes money by throwing it at you. Yeah, Bitcoin. That's right, guys. It's Bitcoin. Last one. This Pokemon is fat and sleeps all day. My stepdad. That's right. Okay, that last joke hit close to home for some of y'all. It's cool. Pokemon Go's making a comeback. I love it. I love it. I've been playing the grown-up version. It's called Tinder. They say you gotta catch them all, but so far all I've caught is herpes. Did somebody clap for herpes? Thank you. All right. All of you have herpes. You know that, right? Herpes is extremely common. Herpes is more common than rat-a-tat. There you go. Deep cuts. We're going deep cuts. So back in the day, you had a choice between 3 starting Pokemon. What were they? Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur. Right. How does anybody not pick Charmander? That's like asking me to pick my favorite member of Destiny's Child. Do you want the one that breathes fire and turns into a dragon, or do you want Kelly and Michelle? Some of y'all a little bit younger. See, back in the day, Beyonce used to sing with 2 of her summer interns. I finally got the whole room to laugh at once. That's the one? I got to shit on Kelly and Michelle to get all of you at once? Really? Guys. So I was watching some cosplay porn. Because I'm an American and I pay my taxes, I'm going to watch what the hell I want, all right? I realized the nerd in me is stronger than the perv in me. This woman was dressed as Uhura from Star Trek. And the guy behind the camera says, "Hey, what are you dressed as?" She goes, "I'm a nasty Star Wars bitch." I'm like, dude, are you serious right now? Come on. I was also watching some tentacle porn. People think Asians like tentacle porn because it makes us horny. Nah, it makes us hungry. I see a tentacle monster, I'm like, that looks delicious. I deep fry the shit out of that. If a real life tentacle monster attacked an Asian girl, she would kill it, grill it, and then dip it in sriracha, all right? No, actually, she would kill it, grill it, take a picture of it, then dip it in sriracha, and then she'd come. There we go. That's it. The only thing she'd be squirting is lime juice. Okay, there we go. So, like I said, I'm from Oakland, California. So a lot of y'all don't know, Oakland has a lot of influence on Star Wars. There are these gigantic shipping cranes in Oakland. George Lucas was driving by them, and that is what inspired the A.T. Walkers. It's true. He was also walking along the Pacific coastline and then saw 3 dog turds. That's what inspired the prequels. That's, yes. Prequels. I got to talk right here. Also, Oakland is featured in Black Panther. Yeah. Everybody saw Black Panther, right? Okay. If you never saw Black Panther, then you're racist, okay? That shit's on Netflix, people. Hey, man, black people aren't the only ones that love that movie. I love it so much, I go through the airport scanner like this. And they're like, "Sir, you need to put your hands above your head." And I'm like, "Wakanda forever!" And they're like, "You're under arrest!" Hey, is anyone driving back to California? Because I'm on the no-fly list. I love that movie so much, I'm coming up with a brand of contraceptives called Wakandoms. But they only come in magnums, because Well, you know why. It's a black dick joke, everybody. It's a black dick joke. So I use Magnum condoms. Why'd you laugh? That wasn't the punchline, bro. That was... Yeah. I use them as grocery bags. Yes. I live in California. We don't have plastic bags out there, all right, guys? Friends, I'm an old nerd. That's right, kids. It never gets better. I think if Vegeta fused with me, he would be really disappointed. He'd be like, hey, I'm supposed to be more powerful, but instead I just have student loan debt and a drinking problem. I know there's a lot of Georgia Tech students here. Y'all don't get that student loan joke yet, but you will. Gage, in like 20 years, you're going to love that joke. Actually, you're going to hate that joke. Here's my advice to you younger nerds out here, is know when you're being creepy, okay? Example, I got a nice smile. Look at this. Unless I turn my head, then I look creepy. Watch this, watch this. And now you're like, well, dude, why don't you just turn your head faster? You won't be as creepy. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Can't help it. Still creepy. Still creepy. Oh, folks, I'm an old nerd. Old nerd. Me, I know I look really young. I get it. I could pass as a Pokemon trainer. I get that, guys. I'm actually 34 years old. Old nerd, old nerd. Old nerd means that I play Call of Jury Duty. Still want to shoot something, though. That's old nerd, what it means when I see the Batmobile, I'm like, dude, you should trade that in for a Bat Prius, okay? You want to save the world, lower your carbon emissions, Batman. Oh, thank you. Got a Prius driver here. Old nerd means I've injured myself typing. Just typing. That's it. I got to wear one of those fucking wrist braces. You know what I'm talking about? I look like a branch manager Thanos. Like, I'm going to destroy the universe and meet my goals next quarter. That's the plan right there. Alrighty, folks. Here comes the closer, the big one. Friends, if I had a superpower, it would be the ability to instantly change race. I want to get picked first for basketball. Boom, I'm black. Huh? If you think that joke was racist, you've never been picked last. All right? But see, now I want to play an Asian in a movie. Boom, I'm white. Yeah. Now I want to die early on in that movie. Boom, back to black, see? If you think that joke was racist, you've never seen a movie. Any movie, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, can we go for Kay Chang, ladies and gentlemen? Kay Chang. Kay Chang. A little worried about being 34. That's not really old. Remember, it's 12 in hexadecimal. No, I guess 22. 22. Sorry. Man, my conversions are bad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, one more time, a thank to Derek and the entire Skeptics Track for having us here. We want to thank Industrial Design at Georgia Tech for showing up. That was really nice. And give yourselves a round of applause. You guys have been an absolutely fabulous audience. One more time before we get out of here for all the comedians you heard tonight. Vashista Sharama, Nicole Blakemore, Ryan Mazami, Crystal Pierce, Jeremy Misi, Tess Green, Lou Lefton, Kirit Nimagata, and Kay Chang. My name's Pete Ledovis. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Thank you, and good night.